Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel, Bachelor Nation News Fans. Imagine a moment so charged with emotion that the air itself feels electric. A moment that leaves everyone in stunned silence, hearts racing and eyes wide in disbelief. Today, we dive into one of the most unforgettable moments in Golden Bachelor history, a moment where Mel, one of the most charming contestants, surprises Cindy with a message that shocks everyone. But here's the catch. What he says doesn't just surprise Cindy, it leaves the entire house questioning everything. Who could have imagined that a single message could shift the course of the season? Stay with us, because by the end of this story, you'll understand why viewers are calling this the heart-stopping moment of the season, and why no one saw it coming. But first, let's rewind and set the stage. The day began like any other in the Golden Bachelor mansion. Sunlight streaming through grand windows, the scent of fresh flowers lingering in the air, laughter echoing from the group gathering. Yet there was an unmistakable tension. Mel had been acting different. His usual charming smile now seemed tinged with seriousness, a weight behind those twinkling eyes. Cindy, radiant as ever, was laughing with the other contestants, blissfully unaware that her world was about to shift. The group was called for a surprise activity, a twist orchestrated by the producers that promised to bring out hidden truths. And while most were curious, no one could anticipate how deeply this twist would touch their hearts, or how it would expose the raw, unspoken emotions between Mel and Cindy. Mel's heart was pounding. He had rehearsed this moment over and over in his mind. How do you convey feelings so profound that words almost fail you? How do you reveal the truth without scaring the person you care about the most? As the group moved toward the designated area, a cozy, candlelit corner of the mansion, everyone sensed the tension. The camera lingered on Mel's hands, trembling slightly. Cindy, noticing the unusual quiet, looked at him with a mix of curiosity and concern, and then the producers handed Mel a card, just one card, a simple message. But as he read it aloud, the air seemed to crackle with anticipation. Cindy, there's something I need to tell you, something I've held close to my heart. The room went silent. Every contestant, every crew member held their breath. And then Mel spoke the words that would forever alter the course of their journey. I've never felt a connection like this in my life. From the moment we met, you've awakened something in me I thought I'd lost forever. Cindy's eyes widened. Her hand flew to her mouth. Could it be? Could someone finally see her, truly see her, beyond the laughter, the games, the facade we all wear to survive in a reality show? But the message didn't stop there. Oh no, it got even more unexpected. Mel's voice softened, almost breaking. And I need you to know that no matter what happens in this house, you have changed me, and I hope we can face everything together. The room seemed to spin, gasps, whispers, the collective heartbeat of the house echoing like a drum roll toward destiny. Cindy's face glowed with a mixture of shock, joy, and tears threatening to fall. The reaction was immediate and electric. Contestants leaned forward, unable to tear their eyes away. Some smiled, some whispered amongst themselves, but all shared one unspoken thought. Something extraordinary was unfolding. Cindy, overwhelmed, struggled to find words. She reached out to Mel, her hands shaking ever so slightly, as if this moment might vanish before she could grasp it. Mel, I don't know what to say, she whispered. And in that pause, the audience could feel the gravity of unspoken emotions, the magnetic pull of two hearts finding each other in the most unexpected of places. It wasn't just a surprise, it was a revelation, a moment that would be remembered by everyone, not just in the house, but by millions watching at home. But here's the twist. Just when everyone thought they understood the depth of this confession, something happened that no one could predict. A new message, a new revelation, a sudden turn of events that would leave viewers on the edge of their seats. Mel and Cindy stood there, their hands intertwined, hearts beating in sync. And then the camera panned to the shadows of the mansion where a figure watched silently, an expression unreadable. Who was this mysterious observer? What would their presence mean for Mel and Cindy's fragile but electric connection? One thing was certain. Nothing in the Golden Bachelor mansion would ever be the same again. And as the screen faded to black, the only thing viewers could do was wait, with bated breath, to find out what happens next.
The sun had just begun to dip behind the rolling hills surrounding the Golden Bachelor mansion, casting a warm, golden glow across the sprawling estate. There was a hush in the air, a quiet that seemed heavier than usual. The birds had stopped chirping, as if the world itself was holding its breath. Inside the mansion, laughter and conversation had momentarily paused. Everyone had sensed it. Today, something extraordinary was about to happen, and none of them could have imagined just how electrifying, how heart-stopping it would truly be. Mel, standing near the ornate staircase, held a small card in his hand. To the casual observer, it was unremarkable, but to Mel, it was a vessel for every emotion he had buried since the day he arrived in this house. His heart pounded, not only from nervous anticipation, but also from the weight of what he was about to say. Because today, he would speak words that could change everything. Cindy, radiant and full of life, had no idea what was coming. Her laughter had always been a comforting melody in the mansion, but today it carried a different undertone, a melody waiting for its perfect harmony. The camera crew, sensing the tension, captured every twitch of a smile, every flutter of a nervous hand. The viewers at home leaned forward in anticipation. Something was about to unfold that would leave everyone, both in the mansion and watching on screens across the country, gasping in disbelief. It began as a seemingly ordinary afternoon. The contestants gathered in the grand living room where the chandeliers sparkled like captured stars, reflecting on the polished wooden floors. The producers had promised a special twist, but their cryptic words only heightened the anticipation. Mel moved through the group, exchanging polite smiles and small talk, but his mind was elsewhere. Every word he had rehearsed seemed both perfectly clear and impossibly insufficient. How do you express the depth of emotion that refuses to stay hidden? How do you put into words a connection that defies logic? Cindy, ever the life of the group, noticed his unusual quietness. She tilted her head slightly, curiosity flickering in her eyes. There was a tension between them, subtle but undeniable. Others noticed too. A whisper of speculation rippled through the contestants, but no one dared to ask. This was a moment that demanded patience. Then came the announcement. Mel, we have something for you, and it's just for Cindy. The room fell silent. Hearts skipped beats. All eyes turned toward the pair, the energy in the mansion shifting like a storm on the horizon. Mel took a deep breath. The card felt heavier than it was, as though it contained the weight of all the emotions he had carefully tucked away over weeks. Cindy's eyes, wide and expectant, held his gaze. And for a moment, time seemed to slow. The other contestants exchanged glances, sensing that something monumental was about to occur. A few murmured softly, but no one spoke. They all knew that this was a private, almost sacred moment, suspended in the delicate space between anticipation and revelation. Mel's hand trembled slightly as he held the card. Cindy, he began, his voice low, tinged with emotion, there's something I need to tell you. Something I've kept inside, waiting for the right moment. Cindy's breath caught. Her hand instinctively flew to her chest, as though preparing for the impact of what she was about to hear. The camera focused on the two of them, capturing every flicker of emotion, the subtle quiver of Mel's lips, the faint glimmer of unshed tears in Cindy's eyes. Viewers at home could feel the tension, the anticipation, as if they were right there in the room, holding their own breaths. "From the moment we met," Mel said with his voice barely above a whisper, "I felt a connection with you that I've never felt with anyone else. You awakened something in me I thought I had lost forever." Cindy's eyes widened. A gasp escaped her lips, almost inaudible but perfectly captured by the attentive microphones. The room was silent, every contestant frozen in their tracks. Even the production crew, usually invisible, seemed caught in the moment. "And I need you to know," Mel continued, his voice breaking slightly, "that no matter what happens in this house, no matter what decisions we face, you've changed me. You've made me believe in possibilities I had long given up on. And I hope we can face everything together." The words hung in the air, shimmering with raw honesty. Cindy's hand trembled as she reached for his. She could feel the warmth of his touch, the sincerity in his voice, and the weight of his vulnerability pressing gently against her heart. A single tear rolled down her cheek, and in that instant, the world seemed to tilt just slightly towards something extraordinary. The room erupted, softly at first, then with growing intensity. Contestants whispered to one another, some smiling, some teary-eyed, all sharing the same unspoken acknowledgement. Something profound had occurred. Cindy, overwhelmed, struggled to find words. Her voice, usually so confident, faltered. "Mel, I don't know what to say." He squeezed her hand gently, his eyes never leaving hers. "You don't have to say anything. Just be here with me now." The camera lingered on the tender moment, capturing the subtleties, the slight tilt of Cindy's head, the squeeze of Mel's fingers, the unspoken promise shimmering between them. Viewers across the country felt their hearts swell, imagining the courage it takes to expose your heart so completely. Just when it seemed the moment could not grow more intense, a sudden interruption added an electrifying twist. An previously unnoticed envelope was delivered to the room. Its presence was deliberate, orchestrated by the producers to heighten the drama, sharing the moment's suspense to the breaking point. Cindy looked at the envelope, confused. Mel's brow furrowed slightly, a mixture of curiosity and concern crossing his face. The other contestants leaned forward instinctively, sensing that another layer of revelation was about to unfold. Mel opened the envelope. Inside was a note, a revelation about the house, a reminder of past connections, and an unexpected twist about one of the contestants. The details were carefully worded to amplify the tension without revealing the full secret, ensuring the moment's suspense stretched to the breaking point. As Mel read the message aloud, Cindy's expression shifted from joy to shock. Her hands flew to her face, eyes widening. The room buzzed with whispered reactions, every contestant now caught between curiosity and anxiety. The envelope had changed everything, introducing an element of uncertainty that threatened to overshadow the confession that had just taken place. Yet in the midst of this turbulence, Mel and Cindy's connection remained a beacon, their hands intertwined like lifelines in a stormy sea. The camera panned to the balcony, overlooking the mansion gardens. Shadows stretched long as the sun dipped further, casting a dramatic silhouette. Mel and Cindy stood side by side, gazing out into the distance, their hearts synchronized in a rhythm only they could feel. Then a figure appeared from the shadows, someone whose presence had not been revealed to the contestants until now. Their expression was unreadable, their intentions unclear, and the air seemed to thicken with suspense. Who was this person, and what did they know? The audience, riveted, could only wait, hearts pounding. Mel glanced at Cindy, and in that glance, they understood each other completely. No words were necessary. They had weathered the revelation together, survived the shock, and emerged stronger. Yet the mystery of the observer lingered, a cliffhanger that would keep viewers glued to their screens, eagerly awaiting the next twist in the Golden Bachelor saga. As the night fell, the mansion lights twinkled like stars captured in glass. Mel and Cindy remained together, hand in hand, hearts beating in unison. Their journey was far from over, and the twist with the mysterious figure hinted at more surprises ahead. But for this moment, they allowed themselves to revel in the victory of vulnerability, the courage to speak the truth, and the magic of connection that transcends fear.
For viewers, the lesson was clear. Love, honesty, and courage can create moments that stop your heart and make the world feel infinitely larger and more beautiful. And as the screen faded to black, the words appeared. What happens next will change everything. Don't miss it. A final heart-stopping cliffhanger left everyone wanting more, eagerly awaiting the next twist in the
The
Golden
Golden
Bachelor
Bachelor
saga.
mansion was bathed in the soft, golden light of a late afternoon sun, its sprawling gardens casting long, dramatic shadows across the manicured lawns. The air was unusually still, carrying a quiet tension that made the walls themselves seem to hold their breath. Something was about to happen. Something that would leave the contestants, the crew, and millions of viewers at home utterly stunned. Mel stood near the grand staircase, holding a single envelope in his hand. To the casual observer, it was nothing more than a small card, but to Mel, it was a vessel of hope, of courage, and of a truth that had been building quietly inside him for weeks. Today, he would speak words that could change everything. Cindy, ever radiant and full of life, laughed with the other contestants, oblivious to the storm of emotion brewing just a few feet away. Her laughter, usually carefree and bright, had an undercurrent today, a subtle prelude to the moment that would soon shake the mansion to its core. The producers, sensing the tension, had created a special setting, a quiet corner of the mansion, adorned with candles and soft music, intended for revelations and heart-to-heart moments. No one had guessed the most electrifying moment of the season would unfold here, in this seemingly tranquil space. The cameras rolled, capturing every flutter of emotion, every unspoken thought. The viewers at home leaned closer to their screens, anticipating the extraordinary. The afternoon began like any other, with contestants chatting, sipping tea, and exchanging smiles. But the energy was different. There was a tension in the air, subtle yet undeniable, that suggested something monumental was about to happen. Mel moved quietly among the group, his usual charm tempered by an unmistakable seriousness. His eyes flickered toward Cindy repeatedly, each glance more laden with meaning than the last. Cindy, in turn, noticed the difference, a small frown crossing her otherwise sunny expression. She tilted her head slightly, curious about Mel's unusual demeanor. It wasn't long before the producers called everyone together for a surprise activity. The contestants, intrigued but unaware of the full plan, followed eagerly. When they arrived at the designated spot, a hush fell over the room. A small envelope was placed delicately in Mel's hands. It was his moment. The other contestants exchanged glances, sensing the significance of the gesture. This was not just another game or challenge. It was a moment that demanded attention, vulnerability, and courage. Mel's heart pounded as he looked at Cindy. The envelope in his hands felt heavier than its small size suggested, weighted with emotions he had struggled to express. Weeks of shared laughter, subtle glances, and intimate conversations had built to this moment. How do you articulate a connection so deep it almost defies words? Cindy's gaze met his, a mixture of curiosity and concern. The room seemed to shrink around them, time slowing as every eye focused on the pair. Even the cameras, ever present, captured the fragile tension in the air, the unspoken anticipation of something extraordinary about to unfold. Mel's fingers trembled slightly as he opened the envelope. He drew a deep breath, steadying himself. "Cindy," he began, his voice low but clear, "there's something I need to tell you, something I've kept close to my heart." Cindy's breath caught. Her hand instinctively flew to her chest, as if bracing herself for the impact of what she was about to hear. "From the moment we met," Mel continued, his voice trembling ever so slightly, "I've felt a connection with you unlike anything I've ever experienced. You awakened something in me I thought I had lost forever." Cindy's eyes widened. A gasp escaped her lips, soft but unmistakable. The other contestants leaned forward, some smiling, some whispering, all unable to tear their eyes away from the moment unfolding before them. Mel's gaze softened, filled with an intensity that made Cindy's heart race. "And I need you to know," he said, his voice breaking with emotion, "that no matter what happens in this house, you've changed me. You've made me believe in possibilities I thought were lost forever. And I hope we can face everything together." For a heartbeat, the room suspended in time. Cindy's hands trembled as she reached for his, feeling the warmth of sincerity, the gravity of vulnerability, and the magnetic pull of a heart speaking the truth. Tears welled in Cindy's eyes. "Mel, I don't know what to say," she whispered, voice quivering. "You don't have to say anything," Mel replied gently. "Just be here with me now." The room erupted into quiet whispers and soft gasps. Contestants exchanged glances that conveyed their collective astonishment. Some smiled, others dabbed at tears, and a few simply watched, speechless, feeling privileged to witness such raw honesty. Cindy, overwhelmed, leaned into Mel, letting the truth of his words wash over her. She felt an unspoken promise, a bond forged in vulnerability, and a reassurance that whatever came next, they would face it together. Even the production crew, usually invisible, seemed to pause, holding the moment in reverence. Across the country, viewers at home were feeling the same emotional surge, hearts racing as they watched the confession unfold. Just as it seemed the room had settled into awe and relief, a new envelope arrived, delivered by a producer with a dramatic flourish. The suspense in the room heightened. Cindy's eyes widened again, this time with curiosity and apprehension. Mel carefully opened the envelope. Inside was a message, a twist, a revelation about the house that could alter everything. The words were carefully crafted to intrigue, tease, and create suspense without revealing too much. Mel read aloud, his voice steady but tinged with apprehension. "This changes everything." Contestants exchanged puzzled glances, whispering among themselves. Cindy's hands flew to her face as her eyes widened. The message had introduced an uncertainty that threatened to overshadow the confession that had just taken place. Yet in the midst of the shock, Mel and Cindy's bond remained a bright, unwavering light. They held hands tightly, leaning into the shared strength of their connection, proving that even in chaos, love could anchor them. Twilight descended on the mansion, painting the gardens in deep purples and oranges. Shadows stretched long across the estate, creating a cinematic backdrop for the unfolding drama. A figure emerged from the darkness, partially hidden, watching Mel and Cindy. Their intentions were unclear, their presence a silent threat or a potential revelation. Every eye in the room, including the cameras, shifted to the mysterious observer. Mel glanced at Cindy, silently communicating that whatever happened next, they would face it together. Cindy squeezed his hand, her eyes sparkling with determination and trust. The suspense was palpable. Viewers at home, hearts pounding, could only speculate. Who was the figure? What did they know? And how would this new twist affect the fragile but electric connection between Mel and Cindy? As darkness enveloped the mansion, Mel and Cindy remained side by side, holding hands, hearts synchronized in a rhythm that no obstacle could disrupt. They had faced vulnerability, confessed truths, and embraced a love that felt inevitable. For viewers, the lesson was clear. Courage and love can create moments that stop your heart. Honesty can transform fear into hope. And sometimes a single message, spoken or written, can alter the course of your life forever. The mansion lights twinkled like captured stars, casting a magical glow over the couple. For now, the moment was theirs, a private universe of emotion amidst the chaos of reality television. Yet, the shadowy figure remained, a silent reminder that in the world of the Golden Bachelor, no story is ever truly finished. One message, one confession, one twist can change everything in an instant. Cindy turned to Mel, whispering softly, "No matter what happens, I'm glad it's you." Mel smiled, eyes glistening, "And I'm glad it's you too." Behind them, the mysterious figure remained, unseen by the couple, but with intentions that could shift the balance of love, trust, and connection in the mansion.